This is a review of the third and final volume of Richard J. Othman's series covering the Third Reich. This one covers the Third Reich at war, and I haven't read the first one, The Coming of the Third Reich, and I've only read partial parts of the Third Reich in power, so I wasn't quite sure of how the writing style would be. With so much literature out there anyway as it is about World War II, I'm sure many will argue this isn't the most definitive book on the subject, but I find it's a very accessible and easy to pick up read for anyone, and it's written in a chronological style from 1939 to downfall in 1945, but still it's got like individual categories in each chapter. So it starts with the Blitzkrieg invasions in 1939 into Poland. So one minute you'll be reading about the T4 programme and eugenics, and then it suddenly jumped to the position of women in Nazi Germany and the policies surrounding them as time goes on, and then it would describe the impact of battles and the impact of the war industry, the battles and war industry, and all sorts of different diverse topics that were covering the Third Reich. And throughout this telling of historical events, Richard J. Othman, in my opinion, really does bring it alive with different sources and statistics, and perhaps most insightful is the way he uses different historical accounts, first-hand accounts from different people, all different classes and types of people who were there at the time in Germany, from business managers to Jewish prisoners in Auschwitz to generals in the war who had to command all their troops. It's literally a diverse amount of different topics and accounts from different people. You also have recollections of the Dresden bombings from civilians, and then you have, say, suddenly Rommel's account of in North Africa, and then you suddenly get these insightful accounts from different generals who probably didn't want to, were questioning the morality of the orders that they were getting from up above, from Hitler. So it shows that not all people were fanatical who had to carry out these dreadful policies and dreadful orders, such as killing innocent people for no reason, just because of some ideology. But one of my the most interesting things that I read was about how Albert Speer dealt with the economy when Hitler suddenly dropped that into his hands, and he had to take over from Göring, who totally ruined everything and did really poorly with the economy before. It's quite interesting because something on a topic on economics usually doesn't sound quite interesting, but Albert Speer, how he addressed the wartime economy when he inherited it, it was he had to rationalise everything, and he came up with a plan to simplify different techniques so that you could produce a U-boat instead of like 37 weeks, you produce it in 16 weeks, so you could mass produce more vehicles and equipment and weapons much quicker, at a quicker rate, to keep up with the demand of the war. So like he rationalised and oversimplified by closing down companies producing the same part but doing it in a different way, so everything became standardised, and this in effect made production much quicker and more effective and more efficient than it was under Göring, who totally messed it up and didn't do anything right properly. What makes it even more interesting when you read this is how Albert Speer, like even like Göring, had no real background experience in military warfare or even economics, as he was actually an architect, and Göring before him, he was just an airplane pilot of the Luftwaffe, so he had no economic experience. And it shows simply how this image of how Nazi Germany was some sort of efficient regime that knew what it was doing all the time and was flawless, is actually just a total myth, because basically Hitler appointed laymen rather than people who had academic qualifications in, say, economics. And basically, if I read here, this is some of the insights that Albert Speer says. It says here, Hitler preferred to choose non-specialists as his associates. After all, he had already appointed a wine salesman as his foreign minister, his party philosopher as his minister for Eastern affairs, and an erstwhile fighter pilot as overseer for the entire economy. Undoubtedly, Hitler preferred to fill positions of leadership with laymen. All his life he respected but distrusted professionals such as, for example, Schacht. So yeah, reading this book really did give me an insight into how it changed my view of how I thought everything was so efficient in Nazi Germany, and that Hitler knew what he was doing all the time, but in reality that this is just totally untrue. In the book you have, in I think all the volumes he's done this, you get some illustrations in the middle of the book, in the centre, different photos from the periods, ending up from starting off from the invasion of Poland up to the Nuremberg trials right at the end, and the defence of Berlin, and the Hitler Youth being addressed before they go off to fight the Soviet troops. And this is a nice addition, so you can just get some illustrations of what it's describing in each chapter. Basically, I recommend this if you're looking for something that's diverse and covers the entire period and you want to enhance your knowledge of World War II. If you're looking for something more specific that focuses on, say, a specific battle like Stalingrad, or something that focuses purely on propaganda, then this probably isn't for you. Basically, if you're a student doing dissertation or coursework, this is filled with references and different accounts from different works and journals, and it has a plenitude of opposing views and balance of different opinions, which is excellent for someone writing an essay or anything on World War II. But also, if you're just someone who's interested in this period, you can just dive out of different points of the book. You don't have to read certain chapters because it's just categorised into different topics. And if you have a general history in this, I'd thoroughly recommend it.